Okay, well, Martin Gardner was always doing a lot of writing, and he sometimes took the puzzles that he was interested in and wrapped them in stories. An example of that, obviously, would be something like the Dr. Matrix stories, and they went into the Dr. Matrix books. So I decided to do roughly the same thing and write a story that wraps around one of Martin Gardner's puzzles that I like more than about any other one. So it's about my favorite puzzle here. Richard rapped on the captain's door and heard a faint welcome from inside. He swung it open to find his boss looking up from behind the stacks of papers and file folders. The small office reminded him of a university faculty suite rather than a police precinct. Richard shut the door quickly and strode up to the front of the desk. "I think we're in, sir." Captain Marlowe frowned from behind his half-rimmed glasses. He glanced at the thin, bookish appearance of the new addition to the team. "You sold it?" Richard thought the squeaking and cracking he heard could have come from the chief's chair or the elderly man's back. "Is this my future?" he wondered. Was the captain 80 or 90? Well, everyone over 50 looks the same, especially when you're young. "Bought the whole act," smiled Richard. "It looks like I get into the guts of the racket by the end of the week. My interview knocked him out." Marlowe grunted quietly. "Grab that chair. You're from Cranberry, right?" "Graduated last May and joined their task force in June. They said you needed somewhere down here who could handle numbers." He talked as he noisily slid the chair over the bumpy floorboards and sat. "This operation is going to be smooth and clean." "Well, kid, that crime family you're getting embedded into ain't clean." Marlowe leaned back. "Tell me how you did it." "Well, they gave me a test, and I convinced them that I was really good with numbers, so I should be starting as an apprentice accountant sometime soon." "A test? What kind of a test? I always hated tests." "It's strange. Sergio, who's a lieutenant in the Antipasto family, put 4 velvet bags on the desk in a line in front of him. They were small and had a gold-colored tie on the top of each. And now the experiment goes to here. Yes, good." Richard continued. He said, "Boy, how many jewels in each bag?" Well, I shrugged because I couldn't see into the bags, but I knew he was interested in my math abilities, so I asked him, "Are there 100 jewels?" "Less," he said. Marlowe, who was always impressed with people who could do math, though he never tried to learn it himself, asked, "And that's when you told him how many were in each bag?" "Well, no. I kept whittling the total down. 50, 20, 18. Each time he said, "Less." Finally, he spit out, "Enough of this crap." It was gross. He really did spit. Anyway, then I asked him if all the bags had the same number of jewels, and he said, "No, they're all different." Marlowe nodded and muttered, "And that's when you told him how many were in each?" Well, no, it was still too hard a problem. So I asked if I could write the stuff down, and he agreed. And I did some calculating on a pad I always carry. I asked, "If you tell me what the 4 numbers multiplied together were, would it help?" He scribbled on the desk calendar for a short time and said, "No," and then laughed, in telling me the product anyway. "And that's when you..." That would have been cool, but no, I had one more question, and I was nervous. He had to answer it. "You asked him where the bathroom was." I may have been getting close. But I asked if there was more than 1 jewel in the bag with the least. "And he said?" Well, as soon as he answered my question, I told him how many there were in each, and he told me I could start Friday. "Good, good." Marlowe leaned forward and put his elbows on the desk. "I knew you were the man for the job. By the way, how many were in each?" Richard leaned forward, as Marlowe had, but with an infuriating smirk. "I've told you everything you need to know. You can figure it out. But there is something I don't know." Marlowe raised his eyebrows, resting his chin on his hands. Richard's grin faded. Was there ever really anything in those bags, or was it all hypothetical? "Maybe I ought to break into Sergio's office when I'm there and check him out." Marlowe erupted out of his chair and leaned towards Richard. "The hell, you'll get killed. You stick to accounting. That'll give us all we need." Richard's eyes drifted toward the ceiling and his face became blank. "I'll need to pick the locks on the desks and the doors, and I'll then have to break the combination on the safe, and a jetpack on the roof in case I got to get out fast, And Marlowe sat back down, grabbed the phone, and punched the button for a secretary. Another James Bond wannabe. Lock picking. Ha! Safe cracking. Ha! Ada, get Richard Feynman's file. You got that? He's fired. And let's talk to that Gardner guy. Thank you. Have a second.